His breath was right above me. Warm, shaky, too close. I could feel it on my neck, where the bite still throbbed. Still raw, still glowing faintly under my skin. Not from blood, from guilt. His guilt. His scent was everywhere now. Over me. Inside me. Deep. I wanted to move. I didn't. Couldn't. Because my body, this traitor, it leaned into him. My legs numb. My hands curled. My glands still pulsing. I didn't mean to mark you, he whispered, voice breaking. Like he believed that lie. But I felt it when he sank his teeth in. Not frenzy, not accident. Choice. His rut had hit hard, but his eyes looked straight into mine before it happened. And I didn't stop him. Because something in me had already been waiting. Still, I told him after, don't touch me like that again. He didn't answer, just pulled back. Slowly. Like it hurt to leave me untouched now. But it wasn't the first time he crossed a line. No. Not even close. 3 years ago, I was no one. Just an invisible presence in the academy hallway. The low-rank Omega. Small, quiet, always smelling of neutralizers and cheap laundry powder. My scent masked. My heart caged. Alphas didn't look at me. Not even once. Especially not him. I remember that evening. The rain came down like punishment. I had forgotten my umbrella. My heat was due in 2 weeks. But I felt off. My skin too warm. My scent slipping. No one noticed. But he did. He stood under the eaves, watching me like I was something fragile. Dangerous. Familiar. I remember he didn't say anything at first. Just walked over. Took off his coat. Wrapped it around my shoulders. That scent, his scent, hit me like a drug. Spiced cedar. Crushed ash leaves. The sharp ozone of a storm before it breaks. I shook. Maybe from cold. Maybe from something else. Your suppressant's fading, he murmured. My throat burned. I couldn't even deny it. He didn't ask permission. Just reached into his bag, pulled out a vial, pressed it into my palm. Take it now. I did. But that night, I dreamt of him, over and over. His eyes, dark and endless. His voice, low and commanding. His scent, wrapping around me like heat. I thought it was nothing. A coincidence. But the next day, I saw him again. In the hallway, his eyes found mine. Again and again, he never smiled. Never spoke. But I knew. He had noticed me now. The noblest alpha in our year. Perfect record. Perfect bond lineage. Perfect control. And he looked at me like I was, I don't know, something dangerous to him. But I stayed quiet. Because that was safe. Because speaking might turn a stare into a bond. But he started showing up. Not in obvious ways. In shadows. Corners. Behind the library shelves where I always sat. At the vending machine I used when no one was around. In the cafeteria line, even though alphas like him didn't eat with omegas like me. He didn't talk, but he stared. And sometimes, I stared back. Then one night, my heat came early. I was walking home. The suppressant failed. My bag slipped. I knelt to pick it up. And I felt it. The sudden flush. The wetness. The burn. I panicked. I wasn't ready. I wasn't safe. And then his scent cut through the air. I looked up. He was there. Umbrella forgotten. Hair wet. Breath heavy. He took one look at me and stepped forward. No. I had said. He stopped. Hands clenched. I turned to run but my knees buckled. He caught me. His arms, so warm. So strong. He didn't speak. Didn't move. Just stood there. Holding me. His scent blanketed mine like a shield. Blocking other alphas from sensing me. Protecting me. That night he sat with me until the heat wave passed. Didn't touch me. Didn't speak much. But his scent never left my skin after that. And maybe something started then. A slow spiral. A broken orbit. Because after that night he kept coming closer. And I stopped pulling away. I let him walk me home. Let him sit beside me in quiet libraries. Let him brush against my shoulder. Let him linger near my scent. And now here we are. His teeth in my gland. His scent dripping off my skin. My heart caged again. But not by fear. By him. I close my eyes. I told you not to touch me, I whisper. Voice dry. Throat raw. He flinches, but he doesn't leave. Because he knows this isn't just rut. It never was. He wasn't supposed to remember me. Not after that rainy night. Not after I swallowed the suppressant he gave and vanished before sunrise, leaving behind nothing but wet footprints and a borrowed coat. But he did. He remembered, and after that, he started appearing. Not suddenly. No. Quietly. Like fog seeping under the door. At first it was the library. I always sat in the far corner behind the dusty encyclopedias no one touched. No scent. No eye contact. No presence. Then, one evening I looked up. He was across the aisle. Not reading. Just sitting. Watching. Not at me exactly. Past me. Through me. Like I was something unsaid. I told myself it was coincidence. But then it happened again. Different table. Same hour. I moved seats. He followed. And then, the vending machine. I always went late. Midnight. When the corridors were empty and scentless. But one night, I pressed the button for lemon tea. And felt a presence behind me. His voice low. Rough. You drink this even when it's cold? I froze. I didn't turn. Just nodded. Figures, he said. I didn't understand. But I felt heat crawl up my neck. I left without the tea. The next night I didn't go. But he was waiting anyway. At the back gate. Near the bicycle racks. No words that time. Just eyes. Burning. Unblinking. His scent hung heavy in the air. Not full rut, but close. Sharp at the edges. Like he hadn't released in a while. My suppressants started working overtime. My body didn't understand why my pulse spiked near him. I tried to stay invisible. Still walked with my head low. Still packed neutralizing wipes. Still wore oversized coats that drowned my figure. But it didn't matter anymore. Because he saw me. Like really saw me. He began showing up on my route home. Just far enough not to call it stalking. But close enough that I felt his eyes burn between my shoulder blades. I didn't confront. Didn't ask. Because part of me didn't want it to stop. And that scared me more than him. One morning I entered class late. Breathless. Suppressants forgotten. Slight heat stirring. Not full but lightheaded enough. And he was there. Near the window. Alone. As always. But his eyes snapped to me the moment I opened the door. I heard him inhale. Once. Then again. Then nothing. But his hands curled into fists on the desk. Later that day, he passed me in the hallway. Too close. I felt his coat brush mine. And then his voice. Barely a whisper near my ear. You smell like silence. I stopped breathing. He kept walking. What did that mean? I thought about it all night. Again and again. Silence had no scent. And yet, if it did, it would be like me. Unseen. Unspoken. Unwanted. But he said it like it was a sin. Or a confession. Or maybe both. I avoided him after that. Changed my library schedule. Took longer routes home. Started using double layers of scent blockers. Still he found me. In the art building stairwell. In the abandoned greenhouse behind the dorms. In the reflection of the bus window. Never speaking. Just watching. Always watching. And then came the day he finally asked. It was raining again. I had my hood up. Head low. Pretending I wasn't trembling inside my soaked shoes. He stepped in front of me. Blocked my path. No umbrella this time. Just his scent. Unfiltered, rain-drenched, intoxicating. Your name, he said. I didn't answer. He took a step closer. And the rain, it felt quieter, like the whole world was waiting. Tell me, he said, softer now. I need to know. His voice dipped on the last word. Dipped like he already had it, like it belonged to him, like I belonged to him. My lips parted, but nothing came out, because something in my throat locked, not from fear, but from knowing that if I said it, if I gave him that one piece of me, he wouldn't give it back, ever. Still, I whispered it. My name. Quiet, barely audible under the rain. He repeated it once, just once, and my body, it shivered like he'd touched me. But he didn't, he just stood there watching me. Like I was a secret he'd been chasing for years. And finally found, he vanished. 2 whole months. No message. No scent trace. No shadow in the hallway. No presence in the library. No figure waiting by the vending machine. gone. I told myself it didn't matter, that I was never his, that he was never mine, that silence was safer than obsession. But it did matter, because even when he was gone, I still felt him, in dreams that made my gland throb, in the warmth I reached for in bed only to find cold, in the scent of burning leaves that reminded me of him, that cedar ash bitterness clinging to autumn. People whispered, said he was sent away, that his alpha urges were spiraling, that he bit someone in rut and ran, that he was going through suppressive therapy. I didn't believe them, or maybe I didn't want to, because the version in my mind, he was just hiding from me, and I hated how part of me waited. Then one evening, I went to the rooftop. It was stupid. The building was off limits after sunset, but I couldn't sleep. My body felt wrong, tight, breath shallow, like my skin didn't fit anymore. I hadn't realized the signs, the dryness in my throat, the ache behind my navel, the sudden sharpness in sound and scent. My heat was starting. Early. Again. The last time this happened, he was there. And now, I pushed the heavy rooftop door open, hoping for cold wind to calm me. But instead, I smelled it, faint, rough, twisted with restraint. His scent. I froze. My foot hit the metal rail and I saw him, leaning against the far wall, head tilted back, neck exposed, hands trembling. He was drenched in sweat. His shirt was half off, buttons torn. I knew that look. I knew that scent. His rut had broken through the suppressants, and he was losing the fight. He sensed me before he saw me. His eyes snapped open, wide, dilated, black eating gold. He inhaled once, and everything shattered. Don't, he said, voice hoarse, guttural. You shouldn't be here. I backed up, slightly, but my body was swaying, my legs heavy, heat fog rising inside me. My scent was slipping through my clothes, curling into the air like smoke. Go, he rasped. Please. But my feet didn't move, because part of me wanted to see if he'd still reach for me, and he did. Slowly, painfully, like every inch was burning him. I whispered, don't come closer. He paused, just for a second, then he stepped forward. My heart stuttered. The world slowed. His scent, it burst open, like crushed cedar. Deep and sharp, dominant, right. It wrapped around me before his fingers even reached. He raised his hand, and then, it touched me. The back of his knuckles brushed my jaw. Then down, trailing to my neck, to the gland at my nape. It pulsed under his touch. His hand trembled, and I couldn't stop the whimper that escaped me. Not because I wanted him to, but because my body remembered his scent, his warmth, his silence, his hunger. I'm trying not to, he whispered. His face was so close. I could see how red his eyes had gone. The veins across his throat, his jaw clenched so tight like he was holding back a storm. I'm trying so hard, he choked. And then, his lips brushed my skin. Not a kiss, just breath. But it broke me. I gasped. My knees buckled. He caught me. His arms were so warm, too desperate. His hand slid around the back of my neck. I should have pulled away. I didn't. And then, I felt them. His fangs, not deep, not full bite, just a scrape, barely breaking skin. But enough. It burned, like lightning inside my spine. My entire body seized, not in pain but in something worse. Recognition. My scent reacted. My body opened. I gasped again. Loud. And then it was over. He pulled away instantly. Breath ragged. Eyes wide. Blood on his lips. Not mine. His. He'd bitten his tongue. He shook his head, took 2 steps back, then 3 more. I'm sorry, he whispered. I touched my neck. It throbbed. Half bites. Not full claim, but the mark was there. Glowing faint gold. Half finished. Half mine, half his. Why? I croaked, voice cracking. His gaze dropped to the ground. I tried to stay away, he said. I thought if I disappeared, it'd stop. I took a shaky step back. You should have never touched me. His hands clenched. I know. I turned to leave, but my legs were weak. I reached the door and paused. Behind me, he stood still. Rain started to fall. A light drizzle, soft on the rooftop tiles. I said one thing before walking away. I'll never forgive you if you finish that bite. He didn't answer. But I knew he heard every word. It happened on a Tuesday. Ordinary sky. Quiet corridor. Cold air. And me, just breathing. Just existing. I didn't know the suppressant room had failed again. Didn't know he hadn't taken the injection that day. Didn't know his scent would come crashing into the hall like a storm. I couldn't outrun. The moment I stepped out of class, I felt it. The shift in the air. The weight. The warning. Too thick. Too ripe. Too sharp. His pheromones. Unfiltered. Wild. Collapsing. I froze. The hallway emptied fast. Omegas vanishing. Betas scrambling. Doors slamming. And then I saw him. Down the corridor. Leaning against the wall. Breathing hard. Shoulders shaking. His coat was gone. His shirt half torn. His eyes, not human anymore. Black. Burning. Feral. He saw me, and I knew it was too late. The suppressants had snapped. His rut hit full force. And I was the only Omega in reach. I turned. Tried to run. But his scent, it wrapped around my legs. Pulled at my spine. Made my knees forget how to move. I stumbled into the old storage room beside the infirmary. Locked the door. But the moment I leaned against the wall, I felt him on the other side. His palm pressed flat against the wood. His breathing so loud. So broken. I told them to restrain me, he panted. I told them not to let me near you. My hands were shaking. The scent leaking off him was too much. My own heat, suppressed just barely, was rising to meet it. My gland pulsed. My body opened. Please, I said, barely a whisper. Go back. I can't. And then he broke the door. The crash wasn't loud. But my heart screamed. He stepped in. Light behind him. Darkness on his face. His steps, slow, dragged, like he was still fighting himself. But the moment our eyes met, he stopped fighting. He surged forward. My back hit the shelves. Papers flew. My breath locked. His hand gripped my waist. Not tight, but firm, like I was something he already claimed. I don't want to hurt you, he said. Voice ragged. Chest heaving. You're not thinking straight. I tried to say, I'm not thinking at all. His forehead dropped to my shoulder. Sweat slid down his temple. His whole body trembled like he was about to break apart. And me? I couldn't move. My own scent had started to spiral. My skin burning. My breath short. Why me? I whispered. He looked up, his eyes red now. Wet. Because it's always you. And then he touched my gland. Not roughly. Like prayer. He leaned in. His lips grazed it. Hot. Wet. I gasped. He paused. Just a second. Say no, he breathed. Just say it. I'll stop. But I couldn't say anything. Because my body, it arched into him. It answered. So he sank his fangs in. Deep. Not hesitant this time. Not accidental. A full bite. Claiming. Possessive. Final. I cried out. His name, it broke out of me. Raw. And then I sobbed. Because it hurt. Because it didn't. Because it felt like too much and not enough. The bond snapped into place like lightning under skin. Our pheromones exploded in the room. His scent invaded every part of me. Claimed every cell. Every breath. My heat surged in full. My knees gave out. He caught me again. Held me close. His mouth still on my gland, still latched. My tears soaked into his collar. He didn't speak. Just stayed like that. Breathing me in. Marking me over and over with his scent. Time stopped. And when it moved again, he finally pulled away, his mouth red. My neck raw. The mark already healing into gold. He looked at it, then looked at me. And I saw it in his face. Regret. Not for biting. But for how it happened. I never wanted it like this. He said. I couldn't answer. My throat was dust. My body was shaking. The bond still flaring. Still stretching. Still burning. I thought I could wait, he whispered. For you to want it too. He brushed my cheek with his thumb. I leaned into it. Then flinched. Because the guilt hit me. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Not during collapse. Not during rut. He saw that. Saw the ache in my eyes. He stepped back. I'll go. His voice cracked. He grabbed his coat from the floor. didn't look back, didn't touch me again. And then, he left. Just like that. No message, no explanation. Just the sound of his footsteps fading down the hall. And me, sitting there, alone. My neck still bleeding scent. My heart still tethered to his. My gland aching. And the ghost of his mouth, still warm against my skin. It started with silence. No warning. No sound. Just a cloth pressed to my mouth and a scent I didn't recognize. Not his. The world spun sideways. My limbs felt heavy. My eyes slow to close. I tried to scream, but my voice collapsed inside my throat. The last thing I saw before blacking out was a stranger's eyes. Pale. Cold. Not him. When I woke, I was somewhere dark. A basement. Maybe. No windows. The air tasted like rust and antiseptic. In fear, I was lying on a cot, my arms numb from restraints. My neck burned. My gland pulsed. The bond mark still throbbed faintly under my skin. Still his. But someone else was here now. Another alpha. I smelled him before I saw him. His pheromones wrong. Bitter. Synthetic. He walked in, calm, carrying a tray, and smiled. You've been claimed, he said, but not fully bonded. I turned my face away. He clicked his tongue. That's good. That means you're still rewritable. He sat beside me, pulled on gloves. I flinched. You'll learn to forget him, he said, voice sweet like poison. I'll teach your body how. He tried to inject me, blockers. Strong ones. But my body rejected them. My blood burned. My scent spiked. My stomach twisted. I vomited on the floor. He stared at me in disgust. You really were marked deep, he muttered. I didn't answer, didn't beg, but my heart was screaming. I wanted him, the real him. His scent, his voice, his warmth. And maybe he heard me. Because a moment later, everything changed. The room shook. The lights flickered. And then, the air shifted. A wave of pheromones flooded in. Not mine. Not the imposter's. His scent, it cracked through the door like thunder. Hot cedar. Wildfire. Deep, primal heat. I felt it before I saw him. My body responded instantly. My bond mark burned gold under my skin. My legs trembled. My throat opened, and I moaned. He kicked the door in. Didn't speak, just walked in, eyes blazing, scent roaring. Every step claiming the air itself. The other alpha backed away. His confidence shattered. He tried to speak, but collapsed to his knees. Couldn't breathe, couldn't stand under that much pheromonal dominance. No one could, not even me. I gasped. My limbs gave out. And then he was there. He caught me, arms around my waist, face buried in my neck. He inhaled deep, and everything inside me snapped back into place. His bond, his mark, his scent, home. I sobbed. I told you to stay away, I whispered. He didn't respond, just gripped my wrist, held it against his chest, and whispered, your body still remembers me. I hated him for being right, because it did. Every inch of me ached for him. Every cell cried for him. And when he leaned in to scent me again, I didn't move, didn't flinch. His rut had started. I could feel it in the heat of his skin, in the quake of his breath. But he wasn't here to bite. Not this time. He was here to take me back, to reclaim. And I let him. Even as tears blurred my eyes, even as guilt curled in my throat. Because no matter how much I wanted to forget him, my body already chose him. And maybe my heart did too. The air between us, still, not empty, just heavy. Like it remembered everything we had done. Every scent, every tremble, every mistake. He stood across from me. Not touching, not speaking, just watching. Like always, I should have run. But I was tired of running. So I looked at him, let the silence stretch, let it weigh down my chest until I couldn't hold it anymore. You forced this bond. My voice didn't shake, but something inside me cracked when I said it. His eyes didn't flinch, but his fingers curled, like the words pierced through his skin. Then he spoke. No, he said softly. I didn't, I scoffed. Bitter. You bit me during ruts. I didn't mean to. You marked me. He stepped forward. Just once. Slow. I triggered what was already forming. I blinked. What? He looked at me like he was seeing through all the anger, all the pain. I didn't create it. I just finished it. I stared. No, that's not how it works. It is, he said. With us. My chest tightened. I never agreed. You didn't have to. I clenched my jaw. But he didn't sound cruel. Didn't sound proud. Just resigned. You knew, I whispered. Didn't you? He didn't deny it. I knew. I took a step back. He didn't follow. I was predisposed, I said slowly. Wasn't I? Yes. I laughed once. It sounded broken. And you said nothing? I waited. Waited to trap me? He shook his head. I waited for you to want it to. My throat burned. And when I didn't, his eyes flickered. Hurt. I kept waiting. I couldn't breathe. My fingers touched my nape. The bond mark still faintly there. Still his. Then why? I swallowed. Why the bite? He looked away. For the same reason I walked into that basement. I stared. You planned that? I didn't plan your kidnapping. But you planned the rescue. He nodded. I felt sick. You used it. He met my eyes. I used everything. I wanted to scream. But I couldn't. Because I remembered it. The way my body collapsed into his arms. How fast I surrendered to his scent. How safe it felt. Even when I hated it. Even when I hated him. You manipulated me. I protected you. You watched me. Every day. You never said anything. You weren't ready. My voice cracked. I was never going to be ready. I know, he whispered. Silence again. Painful. Thick. Real. I turned my back to him. Tried to breathe. Tried to forget the way my heart still pulled toward him. Tried to ignore the ache in my bond. But I couldn't. Because I was already his. Even when I denied it. Even when I ran. Even when I told myself it wasn't real. It was. I don't forgive you, I whispered. He didn't answer. But I felt him step closer. The warmth of his body behind me. The slow wave of his scent, familiar now. Haunting. Mine. I know, he said. His fingers grazed my wrist. Just enough to remind me how it felt. Just enough to hurt. You were always going to be mine, he said quietly. Not because I wanted it. I turned to face him. Tears in my eyes. But because my body already decided. He nodded. And yours too, he added. My lips trembled. Then why did it feel like fate and punishment at the same time? Because we fought it. His hand lifted. Not to touch. Just hovering over my neck. Over the bites. He looked at it. Then leaned in. Pressed a kiss to it. Soft. Slow. Apologetic. And this time, I didn't pull away. Because something in me finally stopped running. Finally stopped pretending. Part of me always belonged to him. Even in silence. Even in anger. Even in pain. And maybe that was the cruelest part. Or maybe the realest.